Welcome to the future of money. Come with us on this journey into the world of Bitcoin, blockchain, and crypto projects. You're going to meet the trailblazers. These people have changed my life, and they may very well do the same for you.
All right, Vinzen.
How are you doing, Sean? Nice
Good.
to see you again.
Good, brother. Good. So I think we're going to start off with a contest here of who's in the more beautiful place. I don't think you might win. You might win this week.
Your backdrop's really symmetrical, and I see some girls passing. That's all right.
It's a cleaner. I'll show you where
Cleaner's
I am.
a girl.
I'll show you where I am.
I had a girlfriend being a cleaner.
None of my girlfriends.
Oh yeah, you're in a. Oh, there's Singapore outside.
Yeah, that's the Singapore flyer. If you can see that.
I see it there.
Bit of an epic. Yeah, I'm up on a high rise here in Singapore.
What happens today's a cloudy day, and I'm expecting a monsoon to blow in this afternoon. But
yeah,
it's beautiful. You can see behind me the cliffs of Southeast Asia, and in the jungle.
I knew I should have taken my camera off. Now I can't get it back in the right place. There we go.
That's good.
That's good. So, man, we got a lot to talk about this week. Hell of a lot. Where to begin?
Craig Wright.
Yeah. So, if you're just joining us for the first time, welcome. Make sure you subscribe. That's right down there in the corner. We've got some really amazing content coming up. I'll be posting an interview with Craig Wright either tomorrow or the day after. We're obviously going to touch on that today. I think it's potentially got something to do with these dramatic price moves we've been seeing. We'll get to that in a moment. So yeah, I think the agenda for today, Vinzen, is obviously we'll go over the price, what's been happening there. There's been huge movements in the last few days. Then discuss the Craig Wright effect. If you're not familiar with this, there was not a judgment, as many people are thinking this is. It's actually a court ruling, which in effect, the court ruling is that Wright will have to hand over 50% of his Bitcoin and IP holdings between, I think it's 211 and 213, and I'll have to just double check that. There's a lot of intricacies to this, obviously. Vincent, I'd also like to discuss what's going on in the world of cryptos, Bitcoin / crypto YouTubing. This is obviously this court ruling has really brought out some pretty high emotions, and a lot of people, putting it mildly, some guys who were very well-known commentators in the space, been using some pretty ugly language. It's, obviously I set up my media brand, Hard Forking, back in 2016, 2017. Back then, the scaling debate, which we discussed in our last podcast, was, that was the big topic. It still will be for a long time, is my opinion. But the big difference back then, you had engineers, you had devs discussing this. The debate was intelligent. What really concerns me right now is the YouTubers, the media guys, the journalists, so-called journalists, they're the voices that are getting heard now. Unfortunately, a lot of the technical guys in the space are they're just not so good at creating content. So there are some people at the moment that I think need to get themselves in check. It doesn't make any of us look good here, and that goes for both the BTC and BSV camp. There was a vlog the other day where the language used, the insults, was just, this isn't Jerry Springer. I understand you can possibly grow your media by calling people fuckwits and morons and retards and the rest of the language that was getting thrown around. But, I've invested a lot of time and money in this space. I'm not paid. A lot of you guys are, what I'm talking about. I'm sure you've seen this content. Doesn't make anyone look any good, guys. We're trying to grow this space, and I don't think type of content that's popping up at the moment really does anybody any good, regardless of what you think. I'd like to see some more intelligent debate. The specific podcast that will vlog, whatever you want to call it, that I'm talking about, there was a guy called Dan Kravitz on Crow. Apologies, Daniel, for mispronouncing your name. I consider this guy, he's a smart bookie. I've actually reached out to him and asked him to come and join us Zen next week. So hopefully he gives a thumbs up. I'm sure he'll be looking at this material to decide whether he wants to. But he basically got drowned out by these guys who were just screaming over the top of him. And it concerns me. What are your thoughts on that topic?
All right. Sean, I'll just carry on where you lost me there. It started raining, so I might move just now, but let me respond to what
Before
you just said.
Before you do that, Vincent, can you tell us exactly where you are? That's stunning.
Yeah. I don't want to tell you exactly where I am because I'm a
You look like you might be
holder,
Satoshi.
right?
This is what everyone's idea of Satoshi is right here: a misty mountain and a wise-looking guy.
You see back here, that is these are the sort of the cliffs that one gets around South Asia here. You know what I mean? And they're just vertical with jungle on top, man. It's beautiful. And I'm here at the base of the cliff on the piece of jungle between the cliff base and the beach. It's beautiful, and right now there's a monsoon blowing in, so I might have to change position. But for now, we're okay.
Okay.
This issue of people blowing their mouthpieces off in the media, you know, on social media, in all kinds of ways, you know, some of them do it on television, in conferences. It's not, you know, can one say it's good or bad? It's bad because it's unpleasant. It damages the space. It creates this kind of environment where everyone is foul-mouthed and opinionated, and I wonder if it's got something to do with the fact that not cryptography, but cryptocurrency and Bitcoin had been a innovation that covers both IT and money, and it's got its sort of anti-state, anti-establishment part to it that appeals to a lot of people, and it's got its money part to it, and financial independence, and one of the craziest markets in the history of markets. So I'm thinking that the kind of people that get attracted to this space are sort of independents and wayward thinkers and people who have an anti-establishment mindset. And I guess this kind of, not that it's that everyone's an anarchist, but it attracts this kind of lawlessness because everyone is a sort of a flagrant individualist in the space. You know, we know each other. We're each of us on our own track. We've got our things we want to do. And I think everyone is like that. And with it comes a certain lack of discipline. And this is what we're seeing and what you're talking about. And I think you're correct. People should control their mouths and they should control their opinions. Because in this space, we all eventually want the same thing, right? I'm going to look for an umbrella. Just a minute.
Yeah, I can see the rain falling. You might want to. Yeah, okay. I think Vincent is actually Satoshi. This is, I guess that looking at that image, that's maybe what a lot of people picture.
Sean, I'm going to have to go inside. It's just raining like.
No problem, brother. I'll pause and we'll pick it up. Okay, so yeah, back from the rain interruption. So I think, Vincent, let's maybe have a look at the charts now and have a bit of a chat on that, and then we can come back to the Craig Wright discussion, whether the court ruling affected the price. I've got some thoughts around that. And the other thing I'd like to discuss today is, off the back of this, it begs the question, because people are freaking out if half of his Bitcoin holdings do go to Kleiman, if he has in fact got them. We're talking, what is it, $500 million? If that were to move onto the market, what are the ramifications there? People are freaking out a wee bit on that. So we'll talk about that, and also there are plenty of people out there who have very large holdings, and how much does someone actually have to move the market around? So I think that's quite an interesting topic for today as well. So that's coming up. Stay with us. Make sure you subscribe, people. We make this for free. We appreciate your support. So yeah, Vincent, if you want to throw up a chart and let's have a look what's been happening the last couple of days.
Okay, just a second, share this. And here is the current Bitstamp chart, and the time frame right here is 4 hours, so we can talk about that a little bit. I do not have all of my trading indicators on here because that is not important for this discussion. What is important is that are the trend lines that are showing on there, and that bottom green trend line is pretty much a target down there. And if I hover my mouse around there, you can see it's around 8,000, which kind of makes sense. It's like if the market wanted to, it could go there now. Now, will it? Because right here at the purple trend line where my cursor currently is, there is a horizontal support that goes back to the end of May and the beginning of June, before price made the top. And you can see that there was a lot of sort of resistance to go through there. Then the market tested it out and tried it from the top, and tried it again back in mid-July and end of July. And here we are, end of August, and the market's on its way to it, back to it again. I think it's pretty much inevitable that we hit this 9,000 level. You can sort of see that what price is doing here. It's struggling. It's the market's trying to climb, and I think it's just we're gonna have another vertical drop to this level. Hopefully a bounce, but if we go below 9,000. I think 8,000 is pretty likely, and then we would have the completion of this large pattern that we see in the chart, everything since the top. And once that pattern is completed to 8,000, I would expect that the market would go up again. So who knows what's going to happen to push, to make price to bounce here and go to the upside again. Of course, we wait for the bounce to complete before we trade it, right? Yeah, I'm not telling people to buy at 8,000. No. As I always say, there's no last bet call in the market. Nobody's telling you got to bet now and then hope it's going to go your direction. Instead, wait for the market to do what you expect to see, and then trade that. So it's similar to making bets on the weather. You can wake up this morning and say there are clouds in the sky. The weather report is saying there's a 60% chance of rain, and you can put your bet, and say it's going to rain. But in the market, you're actually allowed to wait for it to start raining and to then say, I bet on rain. Yeah. And that's the mindset that makes a lot of people, the mindset that they've got to call trades ahead of time is what bankrupts a lot of people in the market. They lose their accounts. Instead, you want to trade those moments where you can see what price is doing and you can feel the momentum in the market, that it's obvious in the chart. Like in the left of the chart here, it's obvious that the market's rising. You almost cannot go wrong buying into that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a comment about the larger picture of what's happening this time of year. What happened on the 28th, a few days ago, 2 days ago, is a drop that I believe the market was going to make anyway. Some people are saying, oh, that was a result of the court ruling. And to some extent, one can say, well, yes, they coincided, but I would even go so far as to say that they were contiguous. They happened at the same time. There's a strange synchronicity whereby the market moves at the same time as other things are happening, often ahead of time. So I wouldn't say that ruling is what dumped the price.
Okay.
I would say that it was going to happen anyway. That just happened to be the news that people were waiting for to act.
All right. I mean, it was notable to me though that at one point I think Bitcoin was down 7% very soon after that news broke, and Bitcoin BSV I believe was up about just under 3%. It's 10% spread there, and SV was actually of certainly of the top 10 by market cap. It was the only one on the green. Actually, that's not true. I believe strangely Bitcoin Cash was also up. So yeah, I mean, make of that what you will. It is kind of tricky in this space to understand how price moves, but I totally understand what you're saying with your trading philosophy there, Vinzen. Obviously, people watching, we can't give you financial advice. A couple of guys make free content talking about our thoughts to each other. You make your own minds up. What I will say is, at the end of the show, we'll show you how you can get in touch with Vinzen if you want to do his course in beautiful Thailand. That's available. Also, the other offerings that Vinzen has got, that'll be at the end of the show, so stay with us. Vinzen, I think an interesting topic to move on to now is kind of off the back of the Craig Wright effect. Maybe we want to come off screen share there. Or, sorry, did I cut you off there? Was there some more we wanted to? Actually, no, leave this chart up for a moment, because if we look at this drop, it wasn't too far off about what was it? It wasn't far off a 10% drop. So I was basically doing a bit of research into how much Bitcoin USD value a whale would have to move a market around. You always hear it said that the market's manipulated, whether that's watch trading or whatever. But I'm more talking about a large player, what we call a whale, coming into the market and bullying the other traders. This is often where retail investors get hurt, and that's why I really do. For me, I want you to teach me how to really read these charts and trade. I've been bullied before, without a doubt. So, really, my question to you is: the figures I've heard are around, with 400 million US dollar value of Bitcoin, you could probably move the market about 10%. Other people have told me that realistically it's more sort of half that figure, because if you are coming in making big sells, you're gonna scare away people. They'll come out of their buy orders. I think we saw that the people who were long Bitcoin lose about 150 million on BitMEX the other day, 2 days ago. So, Vincent, what are your thoughts on that topic?
My thoughts on that, Sean, is that, and I'm informed by, I'm basing this on what I've learned from Ralph Elliott, who wrote the wave principle in the late 30s into the 40s, and what he found from his study of charts is that the market moves not by external events, but from an intrinsic force. And what is the intrinsic force? We can't pinpoint it exactly, but the engine of the market seems to be the collective consciousness of everybody who is involved in that market. Anybody who's buying and selling in that market will tend to take action at the same time. If there is unanimous positive mood, then people buy. So the mood comes first. People do not phone each other or telegraph each other and say, my mood's positive, what's your mood like? And then everyone's like, yeah, I'm also positive mood. And it's like, let's buy. Instead, you've got this unspoken collective attitude that builds, and it's a positive mood. Then the requisite behavior, the subsequent behavior is that people engage in buying behavior. The opposite is true when there is unanimous negative mood. Everyone starts selling.
Yep.
So you first have the attitude, then the behavior, right? Okay. So then you might say, well, what about those times when the market is moving sideways? Are we still on screen share here?
No. You want to bring that up?
Can I quickly call up this chart and illustrate what I'm talking about? So I'm just bringing my chart back up, and I want to have a look at these areas. For instance, here where I'm moving the cursor, you can see that there is pretty much indecision, so that some people are bullish and some people are bearish, and overall there is ambivalence. Nobody's sure, and it expresses itself in the chart, which is a barometer of the mood. It expresses as this kind of pattern. Now, we don't know when that pattern will end. It often ends at the same time as there's an important piece of news, or slightly before the news, because what it is the mood consolidates and people take unanimous action. Suddenly everybody's aligned and say, let's sell. So the same goes, and I'll bring it off of the screen share. I guess the same is true for a whale, because if we think about it logically, for the whale to move all of the exchanges, and we're not just talking about the big ones like Bitstamp and BitMEX and Kraken, Bitfinex, but every little exchange, they all move in concert.
Yeah.
You know, in other words, and they move in the same proportion as well. It's not like the one sells of 90% and the other one sells of 50%. They will all make the same proportional move. And this is something that Ralph Elliott, my mentor in this regard, about what is the engine of markets.
Yeah.
He spoke about that as this is the proof that there is a subconscious force moving the market, because everyone will move the market to a certain retracement or a certain depth of sell-off and then stop. At the same time,
Fortunately for me, the market seemed to move about. I was trading on, what was it, Poloniex in early 2017. I used to listen to the guys on Whale Pool. Have you ever come across? You ever listened to that?
Yeah, I know Whale Pool on Twitter, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it's still around anymore. That was
It's around. They're around. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was listening on YouTube, and this is when I really sort of started trading, and it was ridiculous. It was so funny because you'd literally hear these guys scream at a big price move on one of the markets, and I literally had like a minute to put a trade in on Poloniex where it hadn't sort of filtered through. You could imagine the crazy monkey fingers trying to get that done, but it often works quite well.
Okay. Well,
that was how I traded back then.
Yeah. This is from, and I was in a similar phase years ago. You sort of assume that the market is moved on purpose, and let me quickly get at it from a different angle. So, is it, if we think logically, is the whale present? Has he got an account and funds in every exchange, so that when he says, I'm going to manipulate this market, he then says, okay, I'm gonna run through all of my exchange accounts now and hit sell. You see what I'm saying? That's not what he does. Yeah. He sells on that exchange, but there is already a willingness in the rest of the market to also sell, and everyone does it together. And if we then take that approach, then we see that the market sells off collectively and not by a single individual, because if the engine of market movement is a subconscious force, an attempt to manipulate the market can easily backfire, because there can be logic dictates there's another guy that's waiting for the price to sell off so that he can buy.
Yeah.
And he might be a bigger whale, so the whale must always be cognizant. He might try manipulation once or twice or three times. I'm sure everyone who's thought themselves a whale in the market has tried that. It might work once, but it can backfire twice. And
always a bigger whale, isn't there?
Yeah, there's always a bigger whale. There's always a bigger fish. And once you've expended your millions to try and move the market, you might end up not being a whale anymore. So it's if it backfires, you're no longer a whale.
Yeah.
I to a lot of people in crypto, because of this very belief that the market is manipulated and can be manipulated. If I've studied every inch of the Bitcoin chart for its existence since 2011, since Mt. Gox started trading, and the moves are decidedly organic. They have Fibonacci ratios between them. And I'm not talking about every day, every move. I mean the bigger picture. Once you look in a 1 day or a 1 week chart, there is just a rhythm and a cyclical component, sort of nature of the market, personality of the market, and the moves have ratio between them. I do not believe that there's somebody who's constantly manipulating the market. On occasion might be, but the bigger subconscious social mood is going to steer the market, not a single guy.
Mm. Yeah, and
so we're considering, carry on, because I think what you're going to say next is, what about this massive amount of Bitcoins that are now going to become available, which Craig Wright said he was going to keep for his children? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously the majority of the hardcore Bitcoin YouTubers, or at least the ones that are going crazy at the moment, they think the guy's a total and utter fraud. Maybe some touch on a few of their reasons in a moment for that position. I was actually I was trying to find something that Eric Lombroso posted on Twitter today, which kind of summed it up. I'll see if I can find it in a moment. But, it really, I think there's a lot of people who think they have all the facts and are making a huge amount of noise. And that can be really dangerous. I think, if you're successful in anything in life, you're often the person who isn't following the majority. And I think, this whole debate over whether Craig Wright is in fact Satoshi or not tells you a lot about the way people deal with this. My position has been to keep an open mind, research everything that's out there. When you hear an argument against something, go and look into the empirical evidence there. And just taking a few things that people throw out there that prove for them that the guy's a fraud. They're quite easy to dispel, and just a number of these would be the fact that these various master's degrees, doctorates, PhDs that the guy says he has are fraudulent. That's been proven not to be the case. There's a number of people who have looked into this closely and found, the guy did go to those universities. He has these degrees. I think the other one recently that where it erupted with this guy that Wright's actually taking to court, a guy called Peter McCormick. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him. He actually, I know guy makes really, really good content. He's got a show called What Bitcoin Did. If you haven't seen it, I'd encourage you to check it out. It's really good. Unfortunately, Peter is, I don't know whether he's going in no guns blazing for this court case based on what I heard him, he was on a show with some SB guys, and this was the one I was referring to earlier. It just disintegrated into just personal attacks on YouTubers, who are, come on guys, let's get some people who are actually incredibly knowledgeable in the space, not YouTubers, but sort of carrying the torch, so to speak, for these other people. I'm not sure they're going to be that happy about that sort of behavior. It doesn't make any of us look any good. But anyway, one of his major arguments, and I'm not saying right Satoshi. I'm simply saying we've all got to calm down on this one a wee bit. And Peter, I think, whether or not he finds himself in some trouble here with this court case, my gut feeling is I doubt Wright will want to go through with it. I don't think he really gives a shit what Peter McCormick thinks. But at the same time, someone who's running around calling you a fraud, and ultimately only Wright probably knows whether he is in fact Satoshi. But the argument put forward by McCormick in this show was that he's just a hopeless, he's a hopeless coder. And Wright was saying, McCormick was saying, yeah, Wright himself says that. Now, one of the reasons I actually started looking into whether Wright was in fact Satoshi was I met a coder at a conference, and of course, I learned everything about Bitcoin by the guys at the World Crypto Network, and I was very much a hardcore. Well, Bitcoin maximalist with a small m would be the way I would describe myself. So I certainly wrote off Craig Wright being Satoshi when that sort of first hit the press. And also important to realize that it was not Wright that came forward and said, "I am Satoshi." That did not happen. It was Wired magazine that wrote that news.
He was sort of being shoved into
he was shoved into the spotlight. This was not a guy that came forward and went, "Here I am, I am Satoshi." That didn't happen.
Well, that's what he says. He then did, I'm taking the other side of the argument in that he then did go and present Gavin Andreessen, a core developer at that time, with supposed cryptographic proof that he's Satoshi. Andreessen wasn't skilled enough to realize that he was being played a sleight of hand, and that Wright did not prove anything. Wright simply proved that he had the ability to make a signature. Was then shown to be, that's fraudulent. All right, Craig Wright did not know that was a weak cryptographic trick. I don't know.
Was that Kaspersky or Kaminsky or something or other? Sort of flagged that as not necessarily proof. I mean, look, it's ultimately, so if Wright were to sign something, that obviously puts all this to bed. Bang, he is Satoshi. Everyone can move on. I guess what I'm saying is it's just the way this has been dealt with by a lot of individuals, where guys that I actually really respect. I've been quite surprised by some of the language that's coming out of their mouths. It's vitriolic. It's emotional. It's so
precisely
emotional.
The thing that Wright does when he lets loose on an opponent. He uses a really strong, horrible language, and then you're kind of thinking, well, that doesn't add to his credibility. But I think you're going to release some of this material. I mean, there's a lot of reason to mention that. There's a lot of reason to believe that he was part of the Satoshi Nakamoto.
Well, I mean, no doubt there's going to be people out there that when I start posting some of the interviews I've done with him and material on BSV in general, I'm sure I already get attacked at a lot of places. But look, I went up there at my own expense. I've not been paid any money from anybody within Bitcoin, from anybody within Bitcoin SV, from definitely not from any ICO. All the media I've created over the last 3 years is 100% out of my own back pocket. I hope that'll change in the future. I'm working on a few things that are outside of media. I'd like to think I've won the respect of a number of people in this space that matter. That I think that has happened. But look, I went up to Toronto. It was 35 hours on a plane. I was utterly exhausted when I got there, and I was actually the first person to interview him the day that he did very much a big reveal. He told the whole story of how he launched Bitcoin. Whether you believe that or not, that's entirely up to you. For me, the part of what I'm going to release probably tomorrow centers around I looked him in the eye and asked him about this case with Kleinman. I've done my homework. Kleinman, a lot of people actually think Kleinman is Satoshi. What I would say on that front is Kleinman is a forensics expert. I don't see anything of Kleinman's background that really, what makes up Bitcoin when you look at, the cryptography, the peer-to-peer, the proof of work, the knowledge of economics. Wright actually has, if you look at his background, it ticks a lot of boxes of somebody that could bring together all these facets that make up Bitcoin and put that white paper together. As I mentioned to in our last chat, Zen, it's a case of you take someone like Adam Back, who's referenced 3 times in the and the white paper, that's his work on proof of work. And he references other people, the guys that, come up with blockchain. It's not, look, I'm not, whether it's Wright or someone else, Satoshi, the person who put this white paper together, they have pulled a lot of hard work from other people. It's not literally this one person. It turns out to be one person who has come up with all of this. That is simply not the case. And I think this is lost on a lot of people. I really do. And, if I look at Wright's background, what I said before, I was definitely someone that thought there's no way it's an Australian, for God's sake. But this guy said to me, look, Wright is the actual coding of Satoshi. He was saying to me, I'm no expert here at all, but he was saying that the actual coding work from Satoshi isn't great. It's not like a master coder. I don't know if you can comment on that, but I found that really interesting. And then he said to me, well, if you compare Wright's coding style to Satoshi's, it's almost like looking at someone's handwriting. I'm no expert there, but that's coming from someone that does know the space. Would you comment?
Well, you know what? In my opinion, that I saw. I've looked through the Bitcoin code. You can't. It's a big job to look through it all, and especially to understand it. I mean, I've not done that. I don't understand every line in there. I've not looked at every line, but I've looked through the source code.
Okay.
What it is right now is a different story. This was coded by developers, by volunteers in the years since Satoshi. But the first piece of Bitcoin code, the prototype, was coded in PHP. You know, it was written in a web language. So and
I guess that's what the guy I spoke to was referring to. He was like, if you compare,
the initial Bitcoin code, the prototype work that Satoshi said, here it is. It was some PHP, and it's since migrated to C++, which is also, there's some issues with that, but for sure. I mean,
so just a few other things to basically explain why I went to meet him. So there was that conversation with a guy who was a really top of his game in that space, who had said that to me, and that was a real shock. And that's where I started looking closely at could this guy be Satoshi? Then he studied at a university where the guys who his lecturers or his teachers were the guys behind DigiCash. This is an early version of Bitcoin in many ways. It's kind of a big tick right there. Other things that I've sort of come up, seen that say, okay, you got to at least have an open mind here. Satoshi uses the term bloody hell. Now, Wright's the same age as me. He's from the same part of the world. I've lived in the States. I've lived all over the world, actually. And the only place that I've ever heard anyone say bloody hell, it's a very, very Australian thing to say. Okay, maybe in England as well, but certainly sort of language that someone from
bloody hell, we say it in South Africa as well.
Well, it's I guess it's a Commonwealth. But it's not an
like
American phrase. I don't think I've ever heard an American go bloody hell. Well, that's still Australian. Okay, do an American.
So I hear you on these points. I think all that we can. I don't even know.
So what's the absolute? This guy is 100% not Satoshi. What would you say? Is it some? It's what is it? Is it? He's not signed, which is obviously that solves everything. Sign the damn thing. Then we can all walk away and go, okay, all right.
Without evidence, without convincing evidence, with circumstantial evidence like you're presenting, one can say maybe, but without definite proof, the onus remains on Craig Wright to show. And I think he cannot show because he's part of a team, and that the signatures and things are distributed in the team, and that one of the key members, Kleiman, died, and therefore some of it was lost, and hence we get this court case about the money, because Kleiman's family want the money, right? So Well, let's see what the outcome of that is.
Yeah, I guess we're going to know a lot more. I mean, my gut feeling is this gets appealed and it probably drag on for a long time. Although Wright has turned around and said, no, look, I am passing over the money. He's
that's what
come out. Yeah, whether or not that happens or not, I don't know. We'll see. But look, either way, he's saying that this Tulip Trust, where supposedly all the this Bitcoin is 1.1 million, I think. I believe he said that he has access to that 1st of January, I think it is next year. So it's not far away. I also I had to fact check this, but I'm fairly sure that actually the mine coins at stake here, I don't actually know if the Satoshi wallet's included in that. I've got a feeling that the dates are 2/11 to 2/30. I have to just double check that. I don't want to say too much on that, but I'm not entirely sure that the Genesis block, so to speak, would be included here.
Wright was saying he would not. He said as far as he can control it, the Genesis block coins will not be handed over. So let's see. Well, I don't know. A guy that's definitely going to give us some insight on that is Willie Wu, because he's got the savvy and the skills to show which coins have moved.
Right, Willie, you're on the show next week.
So that'll be interesting. Let's find out. In terms of those coins leaving storage and becoming available, and maybe the Kleinmans sell some. There's talk about trust tax, is that the right word? Estate tax, that will be due. I don't know how much it is in the state of Florida where they're receiving the money. I did see a law somebody put on my Twitter, the way the discussion was going on. Somebody said that the Florida law requires the fair value at the time of death. In other words, in case, when was this? 2011. So.
No, I think he died in 2013. And look, it's a really sad, it was a very sad death as well. The guy died penniless.
Which is why his family want to extract the value of the coins, right? So, will it be? But what the estate tax that is due is something like 2.6 million, right? Of those 500,000 coins.
Could be 40% of the value, and in which case he would have to liquidate, which that's where a lot of people are like, oh my God, there's going to be a huge dump of Bitcoin. You're talking hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin if that's the case. I'm not entirely sure. I'll fact check that, and we'll maybe cover that in the next conversation.
They'll probably get some legal advice and some investment advice from somebody in the Bitcoin sphere, and be told not to dump it all in one go on an exchange.
Oh, look, so I mean, this is interesting, and it's also why I wanted to ask you about how much money does it take to really move a market 10%. And the figure I was told was around 400 million. So the tax liability would actually be would be less than that. And the reality is, I know the OTC market pretty well. There are people that are buying up amounts that, maybe not that much, I haven't heard of recently, but there's some very big purchases that take place in the OTC market. So I don't think, should that eventuate, i.e. Kleinman's estate, selling a large amount of Bitcoin, it just wouldn't come on to exchanges and crash at price. This would be an OTC player. There are people with that appetite to buy those coins. So I don't think anyone really needs to panic on that front. But
whatever will happen, we don't know. But as matters stand now, there's no black swan on the horizon.
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I don't think there should be any panic or on the markets or around that particular issue at all. So stay calm. Yeah. So look, the issue of Craig Wright being Satoshi, I went to Toronto because look, it's really one of the bigger mysteries of the internet. It's such an amazing story. Check out, make sure you subscribe to this channel. That interview will most likely be up tomorrow, certainly the day after at the latest. We're going to have some really interesting people on the show. And in fact, we'll endeavour to get him on here. I think he'd probably be quite open to that, Benzin. It's just coming back to my point before. I think everyone needs to cool down, especially. I think you've got every right, no pun intended, to run your mouth off, to use bad language. If you are somebody putting hundreds of millions of dollars into a project here, I really enjoyed some of the debates between Roger Ver and some of the devs going back to 2016, 2017. Tone Vase, our friend, had a couple of really good ones with Roger as well. But these didn't descend into people being called fuckwits and morons and retards and whatever. It's just, I come on. If you're in media in this space, you've got to be conscious of other people with a lot of time and money invested here. And if you're taking over media and getting large amounts of viewers because of your drama, then are you doing the right thing for the space overall? Maybe not. You might want to have a think about that.
They're debated, and that's wonderful. That's what this space needs.
Correct, sir. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, for me, I come back to the point that if I go back and look at when I decided to set up a Bitcoin media brand, and it has just been a Bitcoin media brand, the amount of people who thought I was a complete idiot and told me so, I'd sort of compare that to looking at the SV camp now, because I certainly wouldn't want to miss an opportunity if it really turns out these guys are on something here. That's just stupid not to keep an open mind, whether it's an investment or whatever, anything in life.
It'd be nice to have some other opinions. We might actually start agreeing a lot if we have people with other opinions on. We're going to find common ground. That'll be great. Just to have additional voices too.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's an exciting time now, Benzin, and we both love Bitcoin. We've put a lot of our lives, into learning about it and to bringing other people into the space, and that's certainly going to continue to be the case for me. But at the same time, it's also now, as my knowledge of what blockchains are, what this whole space is about has furthered. I also now am enjoying the fact that a lot of the noise, the clutter has been cleared out of this market. I'm starting to look closely at a few other projects out there, and now that I'm kind of getting to a point where I feel that I can technically assess what is going on, it's really I'm really fascinated. So while my media has very much been just Bitcoin, that's not to say that over the coming months I won't really be talking about and looking closely at a few other projects that are out there. And I'd like to think, if I am doing that, there's maybe a reason to have a listen, because, as I say, I've been very dismissive of the nonsense that has gone on in this space. I think now the cream is going to rise to the top, and with that in mind, it's I'm certainly keeping an open mind to other projects. Being sort of indoctrinated as a Bitcoiner, there is that belief there's only ever going to be that one blockchain. Whether or not that's the case, I really question.
It's gonna. Yeah, I'm fully. For me, it's like there's no doubt in my mind. It's going to be Bitcoin, the biggest and the best, and the biggest network in the world. It's the largest supercomputer and the best developers. And a solid base of investment that would on a piece of technology that is just being improved constantly.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I think also there could be other blockchains that are interoperating with Bitcoin, if that turns out to be the case, Benzin.
Say again. I missed you.
I mean, Bitcoin will certainly be interoperable with other blockchains moving forward.
Yeah. If it needs to be, because with this layer 2 architecture, with the layered architecture, you can do any side chain. You can do any other protocol on top of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So the other blockchains are not necessary because there's the Bitcoin blockchain, which is just a phenomenal thing. I mean, the size of it, the stability of it, the security of it. Those projects, if we say, look at a Monero, right? Oh, Monero is so good. People say because it's improved anonymity. Well, throw away the Monero blockchain, throw away Monero, the currency, and just do that anonymity on top of Bitcoin as a protocol. And there you've got the anonymity and why I have Monero. And I think that's true for any of these blockchain projects that people dream up. You can just go and layer it on top of Bitcoin and have the benefit of the world's most secure blockchain.
Speaking of anonymity, I mean, that actually was one of the very divisive factors in the coin split during the hard fork and the BCH and Bitcoin Cash camp. So you had, a lot of the people that what's now Bitcoin SV were not happy about the anonymity that was built into Bitcoin Cash, was my understanding. I think it was one of the main catalysts for the coin split. So they're very different projects. I think, it's a fascinating time. And I think both, if you're watching this as an investor, if you're watching this as a company that's looking to build on a blockchain, these are science projects, they're economic projects. This is fascinating what's going on, and keep an open mind. I'm a Bitcoiner. I love what Bitcoin is, but very much for that reason, the forks of it, I still also take seriously. I think, that's what smart investing is about. It's keeping an open mind. It's assessing things on their merits and keeping your emotions in check, whether you're a Bitcoin YouTuber, an investor. Having control of your emotions is important in life. It's an emotional space, Benzin. As you mentioned before, there's a lot of young guys, who have made money fast.
If there was no price chart, there wouldn't be so much emotion. And a lot of people are in this space because of money. Money. So including you and me, but we also have other concerns why Bitcoin is important other than the price. And we can explore some of those as we go forward in the months, right?
Absolutely.
I tell people about my work here and
Yes.
and why they might be who I am, what they might gain if they're interested. They're going to be able to learn trading from me. They're going to learn about sound investment practice.
Yep.
The big buzzword in the investment world, especially in the trading world, is money management. You'll hear all the prominent Bitcoin traders talk about that. Guys like Ugly Old Goat and Tone Bays.
I heard Pone say Ugly Old Goat turned 2 Bitcoin into 20 in the last few months. That guy is pretty good, huh?
Yeah. Ugly Old Goat is a seasoned trader, and he does that by managing his money, because what you find is you have so many losing trades before you hit a winner where the market is running with your trade, that investors and traders have to learn how to control that process of having a series of small losses and then winning big. And this is why I'm referring to the money management side of things. So I actually train people in this, and I've got a proven trading method that many people have come and learned from me. And the trading method itself is not the big deal. The trading method, anyone can make a trading method. It's just a way of getting in and out of the market.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the money management, if I can throw up a share here, I can quickly show people where we're at. This is my this is my website, and this is actually not the one I wanted to show. Excuse me. I'm going to select a different share. That's my trading website. I've got I need to just get the right window up here and show people this page in a minute. I want to share this. There's a Cuban lady there with Paul Tudor
Is
Jones
that,
saying the most
is that the
important rule of
security
trading is
surrounding
pay.
your trading camp, is it?
Well,
'Cause
it's
everyone makes so much money when they come to trade with you that you got to have a ring of security around.
yeah. No, you as a cryptocurrency trader, a Bitcoin trader, you pretty much can remain anonymous. You can sign up for an anonymous account with BitMEX. Nobody needs to know you're trading cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
The soldier lady there was just all about the discipline of
I was quite shocked to learn all you guys when we were at that staying in that crypto resort together, where nobody's name was their real name.
Yeah.
It's
We
just like,
to do all the things, it's like Satoshi Nakamoto.
yeah.
I
know.
Yeah.
When I checked into the cruise with a bunch of these guys, that you're going to come on that next year. This Coins Bank cruise around the Mediterranean.
I would love to do that.
Oh man, that's so much fun. And but it was ridiculous because we were checking in, and obviously a lot of the people there sort of knew who these people were from watching various YouTube channels, and their names are all different. And guys that had their tickets paid for by various sponsors, and obviously they had used the name from the YouTube channel. And when they're coming to check in, it's like, sorry, sir, we don't have a record of you. Very funny. Anyway, moving on. Anyway, what do you got here for us, Benzine?
Well, there's my trading
in a couple of weeks.
This is where you come. And if people want to sign up, they come for 8 days to the location where I am now and where you're visiting soon, Sean. And they come here to Thailand, put them up in a luxury resort in a national park, and their own room, their own bathroom.
Now I know why you're always so relaxed.
Yeah, that's part of it. Yeah, I had to become relaxed. Before I could sustain this lifestyle, because while I was a coming up trader, I was certainly not relaxed enough to have a patient and disciplined approach to the market. And since achieving that, I'm able to sustain a lifestyle in this paradise, and have great people like you come and visit, and have guests from all over the world, and people can sign up and come and spend a week with me, and I show them how to trade the Bitcoin market, or any market for that matter, and how to do so sustainably and constantly, confidently be profitable. That's what it's about. So people can go to this website. It's called cryptocurrency.net up here, and you simply visit the page, and then you sign up, right? You choose your date that you want to attend, and it will take you to a sign-up form, and let me know. We start negotiating your price and your stay.
Awesome.
Right. So that's me. That's what I'm doing, and that's my preferred activity. There is to train and educate. What's next for you, Sean? What are you doing?
What's next for me? I'm darting around the planet a wee bit over the next couple of weeks before I come see you. Off to a couple of conferences. Really, I'm enjoying what we're doing here, and sort of spending a bit more time putting some structure around it. I mean, I know it's just been kind of you and I having a bit of a yarn, which we do anyway. So it's fun to share it with other people, but I think sort of formalizing it a bit more. It is a lot of work, isn't it? Just sort of coordinating things, and okay, we don't necessarily spend hours sort of planning out what we're going to talk about, but I think when we're going to bring some guests on, maybe we need to put a bit more time into that. So I've started to reach out to a few people, see if they want to come join us for a chat on here. So whether or not we sort of make this a very regular thing, I'd kind of like to explore that. So I hope you're up for that, my friend.
I'm up for that.
Awesome. Yeah. So
let's arrange the show and the guests.
Yeah. So we'll get our own sort of little thumbnail made up like everyone else. That sort of means you're taking it seriously, I guess. So you actually sent me a picture the other day, which is a very handsome one, Benzen. So I'll get that. I'll get that thumb sorted in the next couple of days. And yeah, I think if we're doing this a few times a week, we'll build up a bit of a following. Obviously, we're not giving financial advice here, but I would encourage, don't make the mistakes that I made a few years back in a bull market where I suppose anybody could have made money in that one, but it's all about money management, as you say. I could have made a lot more. So these markets aren't going away. Bitcoin's not going away. Blockchain's not going away. So really understanding how to trade, I think, is very important. Hence me coming to do a course with you, Benzen. It can change your life if you get this right. And obviously, I guess what I'm sort of bringing to the table here is traveling around the world, meeting the big people, the big projects in the space, and really understanding what is going on here. And obviously, I hope to uncover some gems that will be good investments. And I'll develop that content over time in conjunction with your trading advice. So strongly encourage you all to subscribe. We are a new channel here. We're ramping up. We're going to have some interesting people, and yeah, the Craig Wright interview will be on this channel most likely tomorrow, day after later. So do subscribe for that. It's going to be interesting to see how that's received.
Yeah. Journalism must happen because, especially informing type of journalism, to unpack, to show people, put things on the table and say, this is what it is. Make up your own mind. This is what I've spent my time discovering.
And money. I haven't been paid for any of this is a key thing that I want to get right up front here before, all this content. This is all out of my own pocket. If that ever isn't the case, you'll be the first to know. By the way, I think that there's a legal responsibility there. I certainly know for a fact that there's a lot of people in this media space that don't adhere to that. So you want to be careful where you listen to. Okay. So look, what do you want to wrap up with today, Benzen? It's been an interesting conversation, as it always is with you, my friend.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed it myself. I just want to do something interesting here and say to the listeners, because obviously this isn't live, they're going to hear it after the fact. I've now got 3:30 in the afternoon, and this is in Thailand time. I see that the market is giving me a signal to sell. So we might be in the beginning stages of the next decline, next piece of decline.
Has there been a movement while we've been chatting away? Has there?
Yes, it's broken some important moving averages, and
really
in short time frame, not
right.
in the bigger picture. Bitcoin, not for the rest of the year. I mean, just for this expected move to go and check out 9,000. The market seems to want that.
Really?
That move seems to be underway. Not a trading advice, because obviously it will become public only after the fact.
Yeah,
so I'm just putting it out there that I've got a sell signal.
Okay, I'll endeavour to get this posted. I mean, we're obviously, I think maybe when we're if we ever do sort of very specific price conversations, I suppose there is the rationale that maybe doing some of that live. Maybe we could do sort of one live chat a week as well. I always find that hilarious, though. I feel quite bad for some of our friends who do these live trading shows, and they often, as soon as they're off air, the market does completely the opposite of what they've been talking about. And
this is one of the risks.
Yeah,
this is one of the risks. I remember when I was doing daily sort of market analysis for a website called Crypto Coins News back in 2014 and 2015. Then the editor, the chief editor, wanted the article to be submitted at 10 o'clock at night, my time, which was a bit earlier during the day in Europe. And so I would kind of be forced to write an article if I wanted to earn my Bitcoin every night at a certain time. And you think price ever did what I predicted? No, until eventually I realized this is futile. Like, don't even do it. And it was actually very healthy for me as an analyst to realize that there is no definitive prediction or action at any time. It's a matter of taking those moves with the highest probability and slowly building a position and not doing these all or nothing trades based on prediction. So it is sometimes difficult to watch people try and predict the market, which seems to be the thing on YouTube these days.
Yeah, I mean, there's a hell of a lot of trading channels popping up. I suppose when there's especially as the price tends to go up, I guess a lot of guys having a bit of a swing at becoming trading YouTubers and so forth. But respect to you and the other guys we know, you've been doing this bull market, bear market, and as I said last time, you've made some very accurate calls this year. It's a tough one, isn't it? If you're putting yourself out there publicly, especially where a lot of money is concerned, making these calls. I do respect you guys.
Thank you. My money, other people's money. You've got to be fairly convinced when you make a call like that. And then there's also the matter of you're doing it publicly, as you say, and you're doing it in the face of opposition. Because when I make the calls, it's often when everybody else is going the other way.
Yeah.
When everybody maximum bearish, I was saying, guys, hold on. There's something strange going on here, and it's a psychological process. This market is going to react to the upside, and I happen to be correct about that. And I called a number. I was like, well, it should be about 12,000, 13,000, and that's what we ended up having. Right? So a bit of luck, and a bit of experience and foresight, I guess.
Right. Excellent. Well, okay. Thanks very much for joining us again, everybody. I've certainly enjoyed this chat. I hope you have. Make sure to subscribe. You'll see the interview I've done with Craig Wright the next day or two. Check out Vinzen's content. There's a link below there. If you're going to learn how to trade, why not do it in a tropical paradise? I think you should also maybe look at those webinars as well, Vinzen. We'll have a chat offline on that one as well. And yeah, look, we enjoy making this content for you. I hope you do as well. If there's anyone out there that would like to come and join us on this show, or you've got an idea or what you'd like to hear us talk about, please let us know. I guess you could throw a comment up below, or I'll put an email address for us as well where you can get in touch. But yeah, we do enjoy these chats. It's nice to share them with you. Thank you very much for the very nice comments that we've been getting over the last couple of weeks as well. It's pretty appreciated, especially when you make it free. Obviously, you get a few clouds as well attacking you, but I guess I'm going to have to learn to control my emotions, Vinzen, as you say. Not react to that type of thing, but yeah.
It comes with the territory, Sean. The fact that the market is so emotional, we see in the price chart how emotional this market is, and of course, since we all choose to be in this market, we ourselves expose ourselves to that subconscious force.
Everybody
so it comes with the territory, and everyone should just try and cool it down. It'll be much nicer to have a steady price chart than all of the swinging and exaggerated.
Excellent. Well, Vinzen, thank you once again for your time. It's always a pleasure. So I'll get in touch with you over the next couple of days, but I think you'll certainly find us back here, people, either probably Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday latest. So yeah, until then, thank you very much.